So glad you could make it in. We have a big night planned tonight. We're all excited. We're looking forward to an exciting jam. So glad that you could make it in. All right. So that, by the way, Have You Ever Seen the Ring, was our special guest favorite song, and I love that song. Have you ever seen the ring? Okay, so our question tonight, but I'm not going to get into that. Let me back up for a minute. All right. So, we're going through a season, I guess you would call it a dry season, but it's not really dry because there are things happening in the news. I often talk about that Will Smith slap. And, all of them, everything turned out okay for everybody, all the parties involved. I'm talking mainly about the process. When it happened, it's like everybody was shocked, right? The world stood still for a minute. Chris Rock, which was hilarious, he thought everybody was going to bum rush Will. That did not happen. But what we're looking at, I hear something. Okay. What we're looking at is that they got back there and they were fighting and carrying on like trying to figure out what to do. Should they snatch the award from Will? Should they let him keep it? Should they, they didn't know what to do. And so they were fighting about it, right? In the meantime, what happened? The show went on as planned. Will accepted his award, made his acceptance speech, and it just continued. But it was a really bad disruption to the show. To me, they should have been prepared for it. They should have known when they saw Kanye snatch it from Taylor that maybe they just need a little more security or they need to be a little more on point. Even though people have their suits on, things happen, and people, get emotional. They didn't get an award, or someone got an award that they didn't want. So, we got to be on point for those kind of things. But anyway, my point is this, that just because we don't see things happening or the things that we want to see happening does not mean nothing is happening. There is so much going on behind the scenes, and we are getting dribs and drabs of it. We're getting to see it. And on the Jam, we know that our story is being told across the nation, and so we're going to bring up all those stories that impact us as targeted individuals. All right? So before I start there was a brother of mine, I call him my brother from CT, and he was a little down. And this past weekend, it dawned on me that a lot of us might be feeling a little down because, it's not over. All right? It's not over. And we want it to be over like yesterday. Trust me, I'm with you. And yes, I went through my little down period as well. And there was this song, and I have a duet partner. We sing together. And she let me hear this song, and I'm going to ask her to sing just a verse of it until she feels different. And then we're going to open up for the question. And that is going to be my GoGi's nugget for tonight, is going to be my duet partner sharing this song. So I hope you're ready, Tanya. Are you there? Okay. Can anybody hear me?
Yes, I hear you fine.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that, sir. I want Tanya to hear me, and I want Tanya to sing.
Can you hear me?
Now I can, yes.
Okay. You didn't hear me the first time. Okay, well, I am on my way.
Okay, they're hearing a slight echo from my line, so I hope that's a little better.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me well now?
We can hear you well now. Go ahead.
Okay,
please.
great. Okay. I don't know how God's gonna do it, and I don't know when He's gonna fix it. Yeah, I only know God's gonna make a way for me. I know he's gonna do it. You can help me sing it, y'all. Victory.
Yes,
I don't know how. You want me to do one time?
One more time. Good.
Okay. I don't know how God's gonna do it, and I don't know when he's gonna fix it. Yeah, I only know God's gonna make a way for me. I know he's gonna do it. You can help me sing it, y'all. Victory.
Woo! Thank you. Thank you. Oh, my God, I needed that. Oh, man. All right, thank you, T. Don't know how he's going to do it. Don't know when he's going to do it. But I know he's going to do it. He's bringing us through. We're going to end up in victory. This will be over, guys. So we're just pushing past our pain so that we can prepare, produce, and progress. All right? Okay, so when we open up tonight, please state your name, city, and state you're from, and what song moves you? What song changes your mood, whether it's to make you happy or whether it's to make you reminiscent or sad or romantic? What is that song that moves you? All right, so we're going to open up, guys. We're going to start with that. I'm not going to tarry much at this level because we have a jam-packed night. Thank you for choosing to be on the jam. Let's go.
It's over.
If you have noise in your area, please mute your phone. We're going to find the echo. Okay.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good. My name's Kate. I'm calling from Australia.
Hi, Australia. How are you doing?
Yeah, okay.
And the song that changes your mood?
Ain't No Sunshine by WWIII.
I'm sorry?
Ain't No Sunshine by WWIII.
Ain't No Sunshine. Thank you. Love that song. I love it. Love it. All right. Thank you for being here. Yep. Somebody was getting ready to sing it, huh?
I thought I was new to this. Oh, this Q&A thing.
All right. Okay, if you're not talking, you can mute your phone. Please announce yourself, city and state you're from, and the song that changes your mood. Go ahead. Hello, ma'am. Are you talking to us? Okay. City and state you're from, the song that changes your mood, cheers you up, or just changes your mood. What's that song?
Hey, GoGi's, this is Daniel from Huntsville, Alabama. And
hey, Daniel, how you doing?
I'm doing good. The song I've been listening to here lately is God Turned It Around by John Reddick.
All right. God, turn it around. Ooh, Lord, do we need him to do it? And won't he do it? He will. Thank you so much. Welcome to the Jam, everybody. Welcome to GoGi's After Dinner Jam. I thank you for choosing to be here tonight. There's so many flavors of ice cream for you to choose from, but you chose to be here, and I am so grateful. I choose you back. Please announce yourself, city and state you're from, and what's that song that changes your mood?
Tanya Norwood. Hello.
Hey, Tanya.
Arkansas.
All right.
C.C. Whining. Believe for it. Believe for it.
Wow. I don't know that one. That must be beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Believe for it. All right. Thank you. Appreciate that. All right, guys. City and state you're from, please announce yourself.
Dana Nixon from Detroit, Michigan. And
Hi, how are you?
Algero Morning.
Morning, Algero. Oh, I love that. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay. I'm hearing that I have an echo, so I'm going to change something that I'm doing. Okay. I hope that's better. Okay. Good evening. Good evening. City and state you're from, please announce yourself. I'm just moving things around in my environment to make sure it's quiet.
Hi. Australia, New South Wales, Australia.
Hi, Australia. Go ahead, and then, sir, you're right after her. Go ahead, ma'am. Your song. And your song is?
It's called by Richard Simmons. It's I Pray.
All right. Thank you. All right, sir. Go ahead. There was a gentleman speaking when she started speaking. Can you go ahead, sir?
Sorry, I apologize.
It's okay, Australia. It's all right. Thank you for being here. Okay. Anybody else? Hi, how are you?
Good, GoGi. My song is I Will Survive. I'm Mary from Connecticut.
Hi, Mary from Connecticut. I Will Survive. Gloria Gaynor. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, I remember that. Mm-hmm. And we will. Amen. We will survive. Amen. We're almost there, guys. We're almost there. All right.
Hi,
anyone else want to announce? Hi.
Hi, it's Chris from Idaho. And
hi, Krista.
Hi, glad to be here. My song, I like the song Roar by Katy Perry.
What's the name of the song?
Roar.
Beautiful by Katy Perry.
Yeah.
R-O-A-R. Roar.
Yeah. And
for that.
The lyrics are awesome.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. Hi, how are you? I hear you.
Sandra.
Hi, Sandra.
How you doing?
I'm as well as can be expected under the circumstances.
Same here, sweetheart. I am from West Palm Beach, and my song is I Don't Feel No Way.
Oh.
I'm too far from where I started from. Nobody told me that the road would be easy. Come far to take this way. Come too far. That's my song.
All right. Brought me this far to leave me. I love that song. Thank you so much for that, Sandra. Thank you.
Welcome.
Not only did you tell us what song, but you sang.
Hi, GoGi.
Hi, how are you? Welcome to the jam.
Deborah from New Jersey.
Hi, Deborah. Go ahead.
So mine would be Eric Clapton, Change the World. I love that song.
Oh, love that song.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
And so the lyrics,
some
of the lyrics, if I could reach the stars, pull one down for you, shine it on my heart so you could see the truth.
Beautiful. To change the world. Oh, my God, I love that song. Thank you for that, Deborah. I'm going to play that.
Thank you, GoGi.
Thank you.
Hello, GoGi, and everyone. This is Jacqueline from New Jersey, but still in Asheville, North Carolina. I just tuned in about 5 minutes ago, so I don't know if anybody did say this song, but the song that I like that reminds me what I tell them, and when I hear it, I Won't Back Down by Tom Petty.
All right. I love it. Thank you for that, Jacqueline. Thank you for joining the jam. I Won't Back Down. Beautiful. I like that. Y'all giving me songs to play for our whole music. All right. One second. If you are not talking, you can mute yourself, please, so we don't have to mute you. Go ahead, ma'am.
Gaji, this is Major P. How you doing?
I'm sorry. Hi, who is that?
This is Major P from Indianapolis.
Hi, Major P. How you doing?
Oh, if I was doing any better, I couldn't stand myself.
Well, good for you. At least there's one of us.
The song
All right,
that makes me get out of my chair is Donnie McClurkin's Victory Chant.
Victory Chant. Wow, I haven't heard that one.
Oh,
okay.
You got to hear it.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
I have to. All right, thank you. Thank you for being here. Okay, guys.
Hello, Gaji.
Hi, how are you, sir? All right, ma'am, wait 1 second. Sir, go ahead.
Hi, Gaji. Roger from Connecticut. I don't know who sings it, but she said in the song it always says, I just need to hear a word from the Lord. And it's a gospel singer. And I just need to hear one word or a sign from the Lord. I don't know the artist, but I always listen to it every day. So that's,
We're
I don't
sorry,
know the
but
artist.
some participants may be experiencing temporary audio issues. Our teams are working to resolve this as quickly as possible.
Thank you for that, Roger. Thank you. I appreciate that. Love that. Just need to hear one word from the Lord. That'll change your mood. All right, guys.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for that. There was a woman that was speaking. I asked you to wait. Go ahead, ma'am, please. And then the next person. Go ahead. The one that waited for Roger.
It's Olivia from Washington.
Go ahead, Olivia. Hi.
Yeah. The song is Thank You for This Day by Karen Drucker.
Okay. Thank you for the day.
Yeah.
I love it.
Thank you for this day. It's kind of like a yoga tribal with a lot of drums and stuff.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Okay. Next caller. Okay, there was another woman. Go ahead, ma'am.
Yes. Hi. Gaji, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. I was wondering, have you guys heard about the Colorado State Attorney General, Mr. Weiser, and he wants to write a neural law?
Is this Catherine?
Yes, ma'am, it is. Thank you.
Hi, Catherine. We did discuss they did write a neural law, and they voted it in Colorado, and we discussed it a few weeks back. Yes, ma'am, they have a neural rights law in Colorado right now. And thank you for joining the jam. Catherine, is there a song?
Huh?
We didn't get into the news yet. That's next. But is there a song that's on your heart?
Okay.
Uh-oh. I'm sorry. Okay, so we have 3 people talking. Catherine, are you finished? And then I have a woman from Australia and a gentleman. And then we're going to kind of move to the next stage. Thank you, Catherine. Go ahead, Australia. Go ahead, Australia. Australia?
Maybe that was me. I unmuted. Sometimes when I'm washing the dishes these days, I burst out with Amazing Grace. It makes me feel good.
Okay, Amazing Grace. That changed your mood. Thank you. All right. Thank you. All right, the gentleman, sir, go ahead.
This is Charlie from Tampa.
Hi.
I don't really have a song, but I just like to say that I was born in that hospital in Amityville in Brunswick.
Oh, I know exactly where that is.
Yeah, that's where I was born. So I'm from there.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. I know exactly where Brunswick Hospital was. It's no longer there. All right, thank you, sir. Thank you for joining us.
All right.
Yeah, no, it's no longer
Glamour
there.
Girl Cat
Okay.
here.
I'm sorry, go ahead, ma'am.
Glamour Girl Cat here with a song, Help Is on the Way by Toby Mac.
Oh, I love it. Thank you. Well, even the title sounds very comforting. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for participating in the jam. There was just one gentleman. If you want to share your song, the one that we missed that when the Australian woman was talking, you can go right now, and then we're going to move into Q&A. Sir, go ahead.
I don't know who that is, but I'll just say my name's Phil. I'm from Gainesville, Florida, and I listen to Voulez-Vous by ABBA.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Phil.
Quickly, I'm Cece in Sacramento, and we're wrongfully accused, and there's a song. There's a song that says it's called "Doubly Good to You" by Amy Grant, and it talks about, being a good person, and as you give, it will be given back to you. And I just want to give that message to the TIs.
Beautiful. You always have such a beautiful message, Cece. Thank you so much. All right, everybody. Somebody's texting me favorite song. I'm not going to say this one. It's a feel-good song by Chuck Berry. And also Helen, Ready, I Am Woman. Helen, Ready, I Am Woman. Okay, all right, guys. So, wait, hold on one second.
I got you.
Hi, how are you?
Okay. God bless you, Gaji.
God bless you. Thank you for being here. Do you want to say your song, city and state you're from, and the song?
Oh, I'm sorry, Gaji. I got here late. This is Tori in New Jersey. Sorry, I didn't hear the initial question.
A song that changes your mood from one thing to another.
Oh, well, classical music does it for me. I like classical music, so I can't say anything in particular. But you know what? Actually, there's a song by this guitarist named Steve Vai where he plays with an orchestra, and the song is called "For the Love of God."
Okay. All right. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
All right, guys. All right. We're coming. All right.
Hello?
Go ahead, sir. I hear you. Yes.
Hey. My name is Simeon. I'm from Brooklyn, New York, and my song is "Break Every Chain" by Tasha Cobbs.
All right. Thank you. Love that song. Break Every Chain. Love it. Thank you for that. All right, Brooklyn, New York again. All right, Brooklyn, Brunswick, and Amityville, all my hometown. All right, guys, so we're going to quiet it down now. We're going to get ready to get into our news. We have a wonderful guest, the esteemed Dr. Len Ber. We'll hear from him shortly. We're going to get into the news. Thank you for participating. Songs can brighten your day. They can make you sad. They can make you reminiscent. But so you can use them to change your mood, all right? And I hope you enjoyed Dr. Ber's favorite song about the rain. All right, now we're going to close down and we're going to go right into what's going on around this nation that speaks to the TI story. All right. Okay, I hope you can hear me. I try to I'm hearing that there's an echo, but I'm doing the best I can. Okay, here we go. So there's a few things in the news that we need to look at, and we're going to look at those, and then I'm going to ask Dr. Ber to look at 3 of them with me, and then we're going to do an interview and open up for Q&A. That is the flow for tonight. All right, so let me look at the first few here. Okay. So first, I just wanted to mention a few items. I saw these two items, and what stood out to me is that it seems to be the same kind of theme, and I'm not sure exactly what they're getting at. So let me just scroll into it. I apologize. Okay. So this one is from NBC News, and the title is, and wanted to mention it. It says, let me see the date. There's no date here. It's May, though. It's Man on Terror Watch List was released by Border Control. So with border security funding blocked in Congress, the case illustrates the challenges U.S. officials face in identifying the migrants who may pose national security threats. So I'm sure that this is about trying to make sure that more money is put into the borders and so forth. And then there was a second one. So when I see these two themes flowing, it just makes me think that something is going on. And this one is from Fox News, and it says, Biden administration refuses to reveal the terror watch list nationalities as illegal immigration explodes on his watch. And this is May 16th. So Customs and Border Patrol cited invasion of personal privacy for why it would not reveal the nationalities. Okay, so the Biden administration refuses to reveal terror watch list nationalities as illegal immigration explodes on his watch. So there's something going on with this border crisis, and if you remember, they tried to impeach Mayorkas about it, and then the Senate reversed the impeachment. And the other thing I wanted to mention, which is similar, is that the cat fight that happened, talk about Will Smith and Chris Rock, but behind the scene, once again, there was a cat fight between AOC, they call her, Alexandria, and Marjorie Taylor Greene in Congress. And the picture that I have, it's such a cute picture. This woman, I don't know who Crockett is. I'm not sure which I'm sure she's a delegate, one of the officials. She cannot contain herself. So it must have been some good fight over whether to hold Merrick Garland in contempt or not. But the House Oversight Committee has voted to hold Merrick Garland in contempt. And it says that this caption that I'm reading says, after a night of Jerry Springer-like cat fight, the House Oversight Committee has voted to hold Merrick Garland in contempt. This comes after Garland refused to hand over tape related to Special Counsel Hur's investigation into Biden. So there's a lot going on there, but the reason we watch, of course, we watch what goes on with Merrick Garland and what goes on with Mayorkas, because they are defendants in the targeted justice lawsuit. Okay? So we just watch what's going on with them. So far, they are both still here. However, we don't know where this is going, but right now he is being held in contempt. Okay, so I just wanted to mention those three. And then I want to read this I found very interesting from Jim Jordan's Substack. And it's talking about collusion with the banks. Now, I don't know about you, but right now even, if you have any problem, if you don't have a problem with the banks, good for you. But there are a lot of TIs that have problems with the bank. So let's look at what Jim Jordan is saying. Give me 1 second. I hope you enjoyed the songs. I hope you learned about some new songs. I always like to do that. Okay, so here we go. So it says, this is dated May 15th, banks and feds collude to spy on Americans' financial transactions. There seems to be no end to what the American government can do to those who do not have what it labels as acceptable political views. Some Americans have faced social media censorship and unwanted home visits because of their political views. Moreover, many Americans lost their jobs if they opposed taking an experimental COVID vaccine. One new alarming case to watch is the government spying on financial transactions. Recent reports have proved that this activity has been politically motivated, as banks have shared information about customers who fit a certain political profile. Even though American consumers are protected under certain privacy laws, federal agencies have still found roundabout ways to require banks to share confidential financial information. Can you believe that? They found roundabout ways to get them to share confidential financial information about our finances. We're the only ones that should know. I mean, we have to deal with of course, the IRS, but that's it. So who should be digging into our finances and finding out how much money we have or what we spent or anything? These events set a very dangerous precedent, as federal agencies can begin to build profiles of those who have unacceptable views, unacceptable, quote unquote, in their eyes, okay? They have even begun to call these individuals domestic terrorists. And this is the Jim Jordan report. So he alluded to the fact that about TIs, really, that we are on the list and that people are being put on the list and they're looking into our banking behavior. And we'll be considered domestic terrorists just because of our beliefs. Okay, I'll read a little bit more and then I'm going to go to the next article. A recent report from the U.S. House of Representatives found that the federal government was spying on the financial transactions of American citizens. Many of the country's leading banks, okay, so if you go to a regular commercial bank, that's probably your bank, chose to report this information to federal agencies such as the Treasury Department. The recent report made the following statement about who might be a target, I love when they use that word, in these searches. For example, one report shared with financial institutions noted that those Americans who expressed opposition to firearm regulations, open borders, COVID-19 lockdowns, vaccine mandates, and the deep state may be a potential domestic terrorist. Wow. These actions are a massive overstep of power, as the government is not only spying on personal financial transactions, but doing it in a politically motivated manner. The government even has the gall to call anyone who supports constitutional rights a domestic terrorist. Should the American public be spied on by the institutions that they bailed out during the great financial crisis? Sadly, the American public has been forced to fund a government that tramples over its constitutional rights and labels it a domestic terrorist for resisting. Moreover, many institutions making these claims have engaged in reckless and illegal behavior in the past. Okay. In the past. Bank of America's activity following the January 6th. Okay. So I'm gonna leave it there because then it gets into the J6ers and particular banks. And I'm gonna just go to one other part and then we're gonna go to the next one. It says how this activity has targeted certain Americans. American consumers have the right to privacy of their financial information, and the government should not be allowed to pressure companies to release this information. Furthermore, it is even more concerning that this activity has been politically motivated. New information shows that the Fed ask banks to search for transactions using key terms. I'll leave it at that. All right, so that is once again from Jim Jordan, and I just think it's important that we know and we keep a watch on our finances, and because if you go to the store, sometimes they double something or they leave something out of they keep a bag on the side. If you're not paying attention, you have to go back, and they do all kinds of things to impact our finances. So this is just another step that they will ask for information about our banking habits and behaviors. Okay. All right. That's Jim Jordan. So the next I wanted to look at, I wanted to hear this video, us to listen to this video. This is a word that I wasn't aware of. It's called geofence warrant, a geofence warrant. I'm not sure if you know what that is, but I'm going to ask Tanya, if you can play that video about Google and the geofence warrant.
Okay.
Now on 9, police might have to search for a new way to catch criminals. For years, CMPD and some other agencies have used your cell phones to track down suspects.
Well, they'll sometimes go to Google for help, getting the company to turn over information under what are called geofence warrants. But that's all about to change. Channel 9 government reporter Joe Bruno looked into the debate between this crime tool and privacy.
It all happened quickly. This surveillance video shows thieves hooking chains to an ATM, then using a U-Haul truck to pull it out. Witnesses heard a noise but couldn't identify a suspect. So police got a warrant and asked Google to ID cell phones in this radius between 3:50 and 4:20 a.m.
When police departments don't have any suspects, they often turn to big tech for help. They get what are called geofence warrants. These are a couple examples of them. They can be effective, but they're controversial.
Well, police know what life is like in America right now. If you ask someone where's their cell phone, it's usually on their person. Most people will carry a cell phone and a wallet.
He says no matter what type of phone you have, Google may have your information because of apps like Gmail and Maps. He says all of that information is stored in what's called the sensor vault. Since 2016, police departments have been taking warrants to Google, asking for cell phone IDs in a specific radius during a specific time.
The area matters. Radius requests can really sweep large, and also if the request is for, say, an hour or two, many people can come and go. So many innocent people are swept on in it.
Google's own data says from January to June 2023, the company was issued more than 35,000 search warrants. It's unclear how many were from CMPD, and Channel 9 made multiple attempts to act, even during an open media availability. The department declined to comment.
As a police department, we certainly respect the privacy of everybody in our city. When we utilize different investigative techniques, we're following applicable law. And we have multi-layers of processes at that point to ensure that our processes and procedures and applicable laws being followed.
The legality of this type of warrant has been heavily debated in courts and generally has been upheld. But that's all changing soon. Google will start encrypting location data and storing it on each user's device instead of maintaining it in its sensor vault. Once that's done, the company tells me it will no longer have access to data that would fulfill geofence warrants.
Google is now saying, hey, we want to be the repository of the world, and we don't want the police and others coming to us all the time. You can keep it on your own.
Google says the change will go into effect gradually on Android and iOS. Users will get a notification to update their accounts. In the meantime, police departments can keep requesting the warrants, but soon, like all apps, this crime-fighting tool will need to be updated. Joe Bruno, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
Now, we followed up.
Okay. Thank you so much for that. So, yes. So now Google, because Google has the information of where everybody is and they store the information, the police have been doing something called this geofence warrant, where they can get a large range if something happens in the area, and probably if we're in the area, and they can get this geofence warrant and find out information about everybody in the area, all the phone information and so forth. But now Google is encrypting that. So Google is working with us, because I don't Google. But now this is very interesting that they're going to encrypt it so that it's not available for the law enforcement, or not available for the authorities. And at the same time, I saw an article where the government was kind of going after Google. And, Google doesn't have a monopoly. There are other browsers, but the government is beginning to put certain antitrust laws out that will minimize Google's impact, and which will give us other browser options to use other browsers. So very interesting what's going on. I think this is a lot of the behind-the-scenes things, because Ring, if you remember a few months ago, we talked about that the Ring doorbell also pulled back on giving law enforcement, just giving them access to footage without the customers knowing. Okay, they admitted that they have been doing that and said they were not going to do it any longer. Okay, so it seems that a lot of the agencies that have been working really unlawfully and violating our privacy rights are pushing back. Maybe because they hear what's going on with the FBI and all the concerns about privacy and the fight that happened over FISA. So it seems to be a good thing. All right, so those are the initial articles and videos that I have for you today. Right now we're going to take a commercial break, and after that we're going to hear about our esteemed guest speaker. So first the commercial break, and then Daniel, you're up. Right after 2 commercials, you can go ahead. Thank you.
Welcome to TIEvents.org, your official insider for the targeted individual community. As the go-to source for all TI events, we're here to keep you in the loop with the latest and greatest happenings. Discover daily conference calls, meetups, and exclusive events across the USA, all at your fingertips. Plus, planning a TI event? Advertise with us for free and connect directly with the TI community. TIEvents.org is not just a website. It's your gateway to a world of information, connection, and empowerment for TIs everywhere. TIEvents.org, your official insider. Dive in and discover today.
Are you feeling like something strange is happening in your life? You tell others, but nobody believes you? Well, get ready to uncover the truth with GoGi Justice's groundbreaking book, GoGi's 10 Signs Which Indicate You're a Targeted Individual. GoGi Justice, an everyday person just like you, has written a book that exposes the covert illegal activities happening right under our noses. With a writing style that's raw, honest, and relatable, GoGi takes you on a journey through the dark world of targeted individuals. You'll ask yourself if you are experiencing these signs. Learn about infiltration, gang stalking, privacy violations, and even hacked home appliances. GoGi's book is a beacon of hope, providing encouragement, tips, and resources for those who find themselves trapped in this nightmare. It's time to fight back and regain control of your life. So if you're tired of feeling isolated, unheard, and targeted, grab a copy of GoGi's 10 Signs Which Indicate You're a Targeted Individual. Available now on Amazon.com and the Targeted Justice Etsy shop. Don't let them silence you any longer. Take the first step towards understanding, empowerment, and freedom. Get your copy today and join the movement. GoGi Justice's book, A Voice for the Targeted Individuals.
And now the CV for our esteemed guest, Dr. Len Ber. Daniel, will you read, please?
Yes, ma'am. Len Ber, MD, member, Board of Directors, Targeted Justice. Len Ber received his MD degree in the former USSR, where he specialized and practiced as an endocrinologist. He came to the U.S. in the early 90s to work for a pharmaceutical company. U.S. naturalized citizen, Dr. Ber spent 30-plus years in executive positions working for pharmaceutical and nutraceutical companies. His targeting began in 2019. Len is officially diagnosed with and is on disability due to so-called Havana syndrome, correctly classified as NKBI, non-kinetic brain injury. His diagnosis was made by the consensus of 7 physicians, including experts such as Dr. Michael Hofford at the University of Miami and Professor James Giordano, a neuropathologist and a neuroweapon expert at Georgetown University in Washington, D.C. To the best of knowledge, Dr. Ber is the first civilian on disability with directed energy-induced brain injury. His attacks are ongoing and highly debilitating. FBI and DOD refuse to investigate his case. Today, Dr. Ber is a host of Targeted Justice vs. Garland, a podcast about an extraordinary lawsuit. He regularly publishes on academia.edu, Substack, and other platforms. Dr. Ber considers directed energy weapons to be a serious public health issue. He is working tirelessly to bring awareness about these inhumane weapon systems to physicians, journalists, and the general public.
Thank you so much for that, Daniel. Thank you so much. And welcome, Dr. Ber. Are you here with us?
I'm here with you, GoGi.
Oh, my God. I'm so happy to have you here. Thank you so much. Thank you for
inviting me.
And thank you for accepting, because I know that you go through a lot, and it's a lot for you to adjust your schedule just to be here. So I'm so grateful. We have three videos that we're going to listen to, and I would love for you to give your opinion or views upon them. And then I have a few questions for you separately, and then I'm going to open it to the public as well, to the TI community. Okay?
Sounds good.
All right, great. All right, and the first one is, Tanya, if you can play the one from ABC.
Okay, which one?
ABC, Havana Center.
Oh, let me see if I get this. Right here.
Today I want to talk to you about something that we at the FBI take very seriously.
That's not the one, right? No.
I just want y'all to know I did give her the order, okay, just in case. If you want to play that one first, you can.
Okay, yeah, I'll play this one first.
Transnational repression. Transnational repression occurs when foreign governments reach across borders to intimidate, silence their diaspora communities and exiles in the United States and abroad. Foreign governments do this through harassment, violence, abduction, and repatriation, cyber-targeting, and hacking, abuse of legal mechanisms, intimidation of family members and friends, and even assassination. Many of those targeted are human rights and religious activists, journalists, political opponents, or religious or ethnic minorities. When foreign governments target these people in the United States or target U.S. persons living abroad, we at the FBI want to know about it. You have heard our director speak about transnational repression before, but today I want to highlight one very troubling aspect of this threat. We have seen operatives from repressive regimes try to suppress dissident voices in the United States by co-opting U.S. law enforcement officers, hiring private investigators, soliciting the services of employees of social media companies, and recruiting or coercing members of local diaspora communities. For instance, intelligence services from China, Iran, and other countries have used U.S.-based persons to conduct surveillance against and collect personal information on individuals that their regimes were targeting in the United States.
Have you been targeted?
Okay.
If you are
All
victim
right,
of game, cult, and contract stalking, you are not alone. I'll stop it there.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. So this was kind of like the FBI's invitation. I think, Dr. Ber, you sent out a newsletter about this one. Is this the same video?
Yes.
Okay.
Let me give you a little history about it, if you don't mind.
Okay.
So,
sure.
Last week, it appeared that there's a new retreat in a healing program center has opened in the LA area. It's called Divinity Retreat. So we received a couple of flyers, and then we found their website, and then we found their YouTube channel. And this is the video that opens a longer video, and it literally starts with the words, "We at the FBI recognize the seriousness of," et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So the question is this Divinity Retreat an FBI outlet? And I have questions for the people behind it. If you are connected with the FBI, since when the FBI has become a medical facility? Since when should we trust them with our medical documentation and our health? I'm especially concerned about the potential mental health diagnosis that they can give you, the potential TIs if you go to that program. So that perked up my ears, and I decided to do my own investigation, and I contacted people through the phones and the emails that were distributed. And just today, I opened a community group on Twitter. If you go to my Twitter account, and I hope you all follow me on Twitter at P. Sardonicus, you will see a link to Divinity Retreat Investigation Community Group. And I posted my correspondence. I posted that video, a link to that Substack, because I think that it's either a gaslighting operation by the FBI or it's an attempt to sort of investigate who is being actively targeted and who is being proactively looking for help. Because when it comes to directed energy weapon system attacks, there's no medical treatment. The only medical treatment you can imagine is when these attacks stop. But I personally have been in 3 various rehabilitation groups, vestibular and cognitive, and they kicked me out of all those rehab groups because they said, for as long as you have these ongoing attacks, it's like 1 step forward, 2 steps back. So I'm sorry for the hiccups. And for as long as you have these active attacks happening, please don't come to us. So rehabilitation is like putting a Band-Aid on a gushing wound because you've been attacked, your brain has been exposed to continuous microwave energy, pulse energy, resulting in cognitive decline. I apologize. I'm a little slow. Sometimes I have to search for words, and it complicated my life. And it was also a reason for my disability because I cannot continue doing my job. I was actually, during the disability process, I underwent neurocognitive evaluation, and I was found at the level of premorbid dementia. So that's what 5 years of ongoing directed energy attacks make you. It make you have a form of dementia. Obviously, it's progressing. I'm trying everything to stop it, but what really stops it is there's no medical treatment for ongoing Havana syndrome attacks. They have to stop, and then you can stop some kind of medical treatment and rehabilitation, but not for as long as these attacks continue. So as far as this divinity retreats, I have my questions, and I have responsibility to protect targeted community from doctors impersonating or FBI impersonating doctors, and I am inviting you to take part in this investigation and post it in the group. Let's make it a hub for this new information. Let's not send our sisters and brothers to the charlatans that promise you to treat your targeting. There's no treatment for targeting. You have to stop gang stalking. There's no treatment for gang stalking. Yes, you're psychologically damaged, but then you go in the real world and the gang stalking starts again. Vehicular stalking. There's no medical treatment for vehicular stalking. There's no medical treatment for active Havana syndrome attack. So they call them AHI, but really the better term that Robert McCrae suggests is neurostrike. So these continuous neurostrikes of various intensity lead to cognitive decline and disability. And speaking of disability, there's an event coming up on the 7th of June. You have probably seen the announcement. And I was very glad to see my disability attorney, Jason Neufeld, to be on the panel. A part of the panel, he will have a presentation about a real-life case, how a condition that is not recognized by the government to be diagnosable in civilians, the government simply denies it. You can still be diagnosed and you can still obtain disability. I can tell you that I went through 5-6 various law firms to help me get disability, and they all declined to help me because of the controversial diagnosis that is attached to my inability to work. And Jason Neufeld from New York was just the person to take on this controversial case, and we won. We obtained disability from a Lincoln Financial, which is, if anybody has ever tried up a disability from a publicly traded company, you know how hard it is to part them with their money, and yet we were successful. So that's what I have to say about that video.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Ber. Wow, that was very, very interesting. I agree with you that it's strange that they would come out as if they can help us medically. The FBI, who's harming us or behind it, and I agree that we need it to stop. We need the gang stalking to stop. We need direct energy weapons to stop so that we can get ourselves better, so we can create our own retreat and do the medical things that we know that work. And you created a pathway to being diagnosed and being on disability, which many TIs cannot would have a hard time following. There are a number of us who have been diagnosed with Havana syndrome with brave doctors who have to risk their lives to do it, and yet a path to disability is something I guess that we would love to talk with you about further. But I would like to play the next video about it is about Havana syndrome, the downplaying of Havana syndrome, and then one other, and then I have a few questions for you that I can't wait for the TI community to hear so that we can really talk a little more intimately. All right, so we have two more videos, so we're going to play the one, ABC, if you have that, Ms. Tanya.
I have it.
Okay.
All right.
In late 2016, U.S. diplomats and their families at the U.S. Embassy in Havana, Cuba, started falling ill with symptoms of sudden severe headaches, dizziness, nausea, loss of hearing, and more. Soon after, diplomats and other government workers stationed around the world began experiencing similar unexplained symptoms. The illness was later named Anomalous Health Incident, or dubbed Havana Syndrome, and continues to puzzle politicians and intelligence officials at the highest levels. Here's what we know. In December of 2020, a report published by the National Academy of Sciences, Engineering, and Medicine pointed out effects of radio frequency energy of radiation as consistent with symptoms of Havana syndrome. While the report didn't blame anyone for the suspected attacks, it did note that Russia was conducting research into radio frequency exposures. Then in August of 2021, Vice President Kamala Harris's trip to Vietnam was delayed after a possible case of Havana syndrome was reported at the U.S. mission in Hanoi.
There was an assessment done of the safety of the Vice President, and there was a decision made that she could continue travel along with her staff. It was not a person traveling in her party or anything along those lines.
After what appeared to be a close call with the VP, Secretary of State Antony Blinken addressed the issue of Havana syndrome, saying that the State Department has deployed new technology to U.S. missions to help understand the cause.
I can say that new technology is helping us more quickly and thoroughly evaluate a variety of potential causes of these incidents, and we've distributed across posts so that we can respond rapidly to new reports.
As more questions swirl around the suspected attacks, in January of 2022, a senior CIA official tells ABC News that the majority of reported cases of Havana syndrome can be reasonably explained by medical conditions or environmental and technical factors. The official also assessed that it's unlikely that a foreign actor, including Russia, is conducting a sustained worldwide campaign harming U.S. personnel with a weapon or mechanism, but still left the door open that specific cases could have been attacks. Then, in a further report, the ODNI doubled down on their findings that there were no foreign actors involved.
The U.S. intelligence review of that illness finds no link to a foreign adversary or an exotic weapon. More than 1,500 American personnel in 96 countries did report symptoms. The report found no single cause, but likely many, including ordinary illness and environmental factors.
On top of this finding, the NIH released a study in March of 2024 stating those injured by AHI or Havana syndrome exhibit no severe neurodegenerative changes in the brain. However, on March 30th, 2024, new evidence was put forward by an insider Der Spiegel's 60 Minutes investigation apparently contradicting the previous messaging from the intelligence agencies and suggesting Havana syndrome was linked to a Russian military assassination unit.
You know, if my mother had seen what I saw, she would say, it's the Russians, stupid.
The Kremlin denies the claims, and the White House told reporters that the U.S. intelligence community had not reached the same conclusions as the investigation.
There was an assessment that the intelligence community made, and so I would have to refer you to ODNI on their assessment. But that particular piece about Russia, I know that they had not concluded that. We're going to continue to do a comprehensive examination of the effects here that we're seeing and the potential causes of AHI. That's something that we're going to continue to look into.
Okay, that's really
okay. Thank you so much, Tanya. Thank you. So at this point, they were blaming Russia, and then they said, but they did not conclude that it was Russia. So they continue to deal with Havana syndrome or anomalous health incident, which is what it's being called now. But Dr. Ber, I heard you call it something different. Can you explain that? Okay.
Yeah, anomalous health incident is pretty much it doesn't mean anything. It could be anything. The term neurostrike, suggested by political scientist Robert McCrae, who advises NATO on novel technology, is more precise. It actually takes into consideration the conclusion of the National Academy of Sciences, the intelligence community report on AHI that came to the same conclusion, that it is a neurostrike is an attack on personnel, attacking their neurocognitive function, and neurostrike equals neurocognitive disruption. And that word disruption, that the neural connection in the brain that are responsible for cognition, for motor function, are disrupted by this energy. That is a very important point, because the NIH study that came out, and you mentioned it, it is now under investigation. They used a wrong methodology. The headline said that the NIH study found no signs of brain injury in AHI patients. What's happened is they only used fMRI, which is a great method for studying the structure of the brain. But as far as the function, if you're looking for neurological disruption, it's very indirect. Even though it's called functional MRI, it simply follows the distribution. There's a method called DTI that has been most useful, and it's simply looking for distribution of water, not distribution of signals. So it's an indirect method. We, in the non-governmental targeted community, we came across a method that actually shows neurological disruption in the brain directly. And that method is called QEEG with SW Loretta. You go to it at targetedjustice.com and you find my page. It's either on the medical or just a standalone page, and you also find a page devoted to QEEG. Those two pages should give you a relatively full understanding of the difference between fMRI and QEEG, what this, how they complement each other, and the value of QEEG is in showing this neurocognitive disruption directly. It actually measures the speed of distributing electrical signal of the brain itself between the neural nodes. And it's not a diagnostic method, it's a complementary method, but it allows to pronounce the diagnosis with more confidently. And so I on my pages, I outline the diagnostic criteria and then the complementary methods of neurological disruption. By the way, when I published that lecture, then I also published it on LinkedIn. And then because I have a professional LinkedIn account, I can get the demographics of the people who are looking at the video. And for that video about NKBI, the 33% of the viewers for this neurological disruption were law enforcement and agencies. Number 1, FBI. Number 2, Interpol. And number 3, Space Force. So I exposed that, and then for the next 2.5 months, I was inactive on social media because I was completely incapacitated. I was just living from one attack to another for 2.5 months. Now I'm back. Things are a little lighter. Things are a little better. But it can happen anytime. But it happened exactly after I published that lecture. So,
wow.
NIH study of what they did in that study, they added additional people to the AHI group, and they didn't verify them. They just accepted whoever was sent by the Department of Justice. And most of those people had functional neurological disorder. They didn't have, they were not diagnosed with Havana syndrome or neurostrikes. And that allowed, so they diluted that group, and even though statistical significance in the fMRI was found within the ABC groups, the old one and the added one, between the statistical difference between the AHI group as a whole was not found compared to the control. And that's why this study is currently under investigation. So people who are saying NIH study found no symptoms, no signs of brain injury, that's not truth. That's propaganda. And another thing that I noticed in that clip is that conflation between the reality of the anomalous health incidents and neurostrikes and the attribution, like who is doing it. Those are two different questions, but people treat them interchangeably. And what you often hear is that, well, Havana syndrome is not real because we didn't find anybody who is doing it. Well, those are two different questions. Like, we have, according to the experts like James Giordano, Robert McRae, Armin Krishnan, we and Jim Henson, they all publicly stated that we do have these weapon systems capable of causing Havana syndrome. There's a Congress Act that was read on the House and the Senate floor and sent to the Armed Forces Committee for execution, called Act 2016 Act of Acquisition of Directed Energy Weapons Systems. And the word systems there is not by mistake, because the current state of directed energy weapons is not just a single weapon like a ray gun or whatever. That's an obsolete technology, and that's the technology that the people at the recent hearing were talking about. They said, we pinpointed geolocation of the Russian spies and the AHI. Well, that's based on the assumption that you have to be in the physical proximity of the incident. But that's an 80s and 90s technology. In the 21st century, it's no longer the case. You don't have to be in the proximity. It can be done. It's a system. It means that the sensors are distributed. They can identify where the target is, where that particular brain is, and the signal can come from a satellite, can come from a drone, can come from a cell tower. It's a system, and that's important to understand. And if you heard that journalist Grozov talking about the attribution, and he said, we know the Russians are doing it, when he actually brought the numbers, they only, out of the entire world where all these AHIs are happening, they only identified 4 cases where they could match geolocation of that Russian spy group and the AHIs happening to Americans. 4 cases.
Yeah, and I read an article, sorry, Dr. Ber, where they said that they cannot, the U.S. said that they cannot say that it was, that the Havana syndrome and direct energy weapons are due to foreign adversaries. They stated that, and so I'm surprised. Well, I'm not surprised, but here we are revisiting other foreign adversaries when they already stated that they can't blame the Havana syndrome on foreign adversaries.
Well, that was the conclusion from the ODNI and the CIA. Yet the CIA, once again, it's the attribution, and they're talking about different methods of attribution. The 60 Minutes and the investigation by the Insider and Der Spiegel and the CBS, it was based on the assumption that you have to be in physical proximity to the attack. The modern understanding is that you don't have to be, that you can operate, you can initiate the attack from anywhere on the planet to anybody on the planet in different locations. And that's why that explains the ODNI and the CIA conclusion. It's interesting that none of the that the validated cases for the Russians that use geolocation of these Russian spies, the Russian gentlemen, none of them were happening in Havana. And the Havana cohort has the 25 or 2,000 cases that even CIA cannot explain by environmental factors or the history of previous concussions, et cetera. And this is the 25 cases that were diagnosed by Dr. Hoffer at the University of Miami, the same doctor who diagnosed my case. So you have to be very careful not to conflate the reality of these attacks with the attribution of these attacks. And when talking about attribution, you need to keep in mind which technology is used. Is it that outdated technology where you literally have an apparatus that aims at someone's brain, or you're talking about the system where anybody in the world can be targeted?
Right.
Does it make sense?
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah, very deep stuff. I'm very encouraged by what's going on with Mark Zaid, and I heard your point with the system versus the other outdated technology. Is just very interesting. But I'm encouraged by what's going on with the hearing and with Mark Zaid and what he's revealing, because ODNI had to keep asking different intelligence agencies to disclose documents that they say this is classified, that's classified, and he's making them reveal it. So I think that in the next 2 weeks or months, we're going to learn a whole lot about what's going on, and I think it's going to point back towards, targeted individuals, and the fact that more civilians have Havana syndrome and are being targeted and impacted by this, and not only diplomats, which you are a fine example of, And so it's encouraging to know that it's coming out. And Mark Zaid, one of the things he said was that it's a cover-up, and he's not going to allow it to be covered up any longer. And he challenged the government that this is like a short window of an opportunity to be on the right side of justice. So they have an opportunity to blow the whistle, to expose things, to stop this nonsense, because it's cruel and inhumane. It's disgusting.
Correct.
Yeah.
And if you follow the news, on June 20th, there will be enacted a new rule for whistleblowers, giving a special protection to high-ranking whistleblowers, and that would include the targeting program, because a lot of people understand what's going on, and they understand they're on the wrong side of history and on the wrong side of the human race, quite honestly, but they are afraid to come up in this new rule that will be enacted on June 20th will allow them to come out and say the truth. And you're absolutely correct. Mark Zaid is very clearly pointing the finger at the CIA. He said the CIA does not share information with their sister agencies, and the reason for that is the most likely reason for that is that they are using this technology themselves.
Yes, they put there. I read that article in the Wisconsin Law Journal, and they said it could be because the CIA first developed and deployed the direct energy weapon. So I really believe that they're going to get somewhere with the hearing, and he's going to continue pushing. And when asked about civilians, if civilians are impacted, he said, look at my tweets. So look on my Twitter and see all the people, because thank God for all the TIs that continue to stand up, continue to get on social media and say, I'm being hurt. Look over here, look at me, this is happening. I'm real. They continue to use their voice and continue to put these comments on threads. So yes, we have to keep it up, because I believe that the fight that they had about Pfizer is because TI stood up. And I believe that Mark Zaid is moving forward because he understands and knows what's going on. He's being careful. He represents the diplomats, but he understands and he knows. and he's pushing forward, and I'm so grateful. And I'm grateful for anybody who stands up for them. I'm grateful for you, Dr. Ber, because you educate other doctors and journalists about this. And, I mean, this is how we get the word out there. We cannot continue being that invisible elephant in the room. Elephants are huge. We're huge, and yet they're looking like we don't exist. So we have to keep pushing. And, you know, I heard what you said, that that they looked on your page, all of them looking on your page, and then you suffered all of these attacks, and, you know, but yet here you are. So, you know, my hat's off to you. That's so commendable. I mean, I just look forward to the day when we are free and we're, you know, working together to help everybody to reclaim their lives, because that's the stage that we need to be at. I wanted to ask you one or two other questions. I'm going to hold that video because I don't want you to get, you know, I know that your time is limited, and in respect to your time, it's a very good video because I believe it's similar to what's going on June 20th. I'm so happy I didn't know about that coming out June 20th. I do know that DOJ, which we discussed here a couple of weeks ago, they put out something in incentive for whistleblowers that with whistleblower protection and incentive, and they told them to do. I mean, Department of Justice, do we trust them? Do we not? I mean, that's up to the employees to decide whether they're going to trust them or not. But they put out something for employees and for the public to blow the whistle. But I'm looking forward to that rule that you mentioned on June 20th. I want to ask you about the dentist, because a few people were talking about the dentist, and I know we have a letter that we can use about dentists and nanotechnology. So what do we have to look for and be careful of when we go to dentists, because we do have to use them from time to time?
Well, I would rephrase that question, because it's not about dentists. Dentists are just the users of dental anesthetics, and dental anesthetics have been shown to contain nanotechnology very similar, if not identical, to what's been found in the COVID vaccines, so-called. So it's not the dentist. The dentists are really not to blame. I mean, if you could provide them with dental anesthetics that do not contain this technology, they will probably be the first to do that. But they don't have an option. All the anesthetics that this international microscopy group, including myself, I tested, I looked under a microscope and found nanotechnology, self-assembly nanotechnology in all dental anesthetics, including those going back to 2010 and 2013 expiration date. And so this has been around for a long time. So I would not necessarily blame the dentist. They simply do not have an option of using nanotechnology-free dental anesthetics. I recently had some dental work done, and I was injected with a product that I personally confirmed to have self-assembly nanotechnology. So let's not blame the dentist, but let's blame the pharmaceutical company. And I complained to the FDA, I complained to Abbott. Most of the products that I looked at are made by Abbott Pharmaceuticals in Switzerland. I went everywhere, sent out the videos, sent out the images. Nobody's paying attention. Like it is, I went to hematologists to show the presence of nanotechnology and nanobots in my blood, in the blood mixed with dental anesthetics. They just in denial. They said, yes, we have never seen anything like this, and we cannot help you.
But there are no alternatives. I mean, do they have to use that anesthetic, or there are no alternatives?
Well, if you would like to have a root canal without anesthetics, you can certainly volunteer. Volunteer. But knowing what we know today, that nanotechnology is pretty much in every injectable pharmaceutical. We looked at insulin. We'll look at injectable antibiotics. It's found everywhere, and of course in so-called mRNA product. I think only one only one product of the AstraZeneca was not based on mRNA technology, and it's been taken off the market due to high level of complications. But there's no alternative for the dentist. So let's not blame the dentist. They are kind of in the same situation as we are. Maybe some pharmacy can, like a compounding pharmacist, can start making nanotechnology-free products, but that's a lot of work, and it takes a lot of components. This is basically like a reinventing the wheel. It's quite complicated, but that could be a solution if they also test their components for the presence of nanotechnology. But unfortunately, we found it in everything. We found it in the saline solution. I found it in the PCR test, the ones that you shove up your nose, like next to the brain. I found nanotechnology in those swabs. So as you tested yourself for the COVID, you were delivering nanotechnology to your brain. How cool is that?
That's awful. I remember some people talking about how far up they push, and they could almost touch, something up there.
Yeah. You basically you're touching the outer layer of your brain, and I found various forms of nanotechnology. One of them looks like an arrow with a rhomboid hook at the end, and I think that was specific to the PCR swabs, because that is a different delivery system. You're not injecting; you're just rubbing it against the nasal surface of your brain. Yes, and that's what we discussed. I don't know if you saw interview with David Hughes that I had last week. We talked about that. David Hughes is a legendary figure. He's the one who published a 130-page article in September of 2022 establishing that 26 scientific groups established the presence of self-assembling nanotechnology in the so-called COVID vaccines, and he called it a military operation. His hypothesis is he just came out with a book, and he talks about the war for technocracy, and that
what
includes
is technocracy?
Well, technocracy is a rule of a few, like oligarchy. So it's, let's say we are supposed to live in the representative democracy. So we get to decide what our government does. Well, technocracy is a rule of a few, of a very few, like literally like 0.1% of the population that has 96% of the world wealth, and they have access to military technology, which is about 50 years ahead of our regular civil technology. That is called IT/bio/nano technocracy. So this is the first time in history that we are exposed, not only we're exposed to propaganda, but that propaganda is monitored, is inserted directly into your brain, that the mind control, the term a lot of people are laughing at. Listen to lectures by James Jordan, and he says we're now capable of reading from the brain in real time and write into the brain in real time. Whatever words you want to use, this is nothing less but mind control. So people who are trying to make fun of the word mind control, they kind of under mind control themselves. And every day we are sort of rejecting it. We're getting closer to this irreversible technocratic enslavement of the humans. We are in the middle of, call it 5G warfare or World War III, and we don't even realize, because we are the enemies. Usually a war, between various countries, the technocracy, it is a global form of ruling based on the scientific, on the access to highly advanced technology. And the enemy is us. The depopulation program, the enemies are us. We are that unnecessary class of people. There are just too many of us, and resources are getting thin, and this technocratic elite who has access to that technology is manipulating us directly at the level of our brain. So when you are exposed to certain information, they control how you think about it. They manipulate it. They influence you, and they influence you directly at the level of your brain. So you think you are making your own decisions, but you are not. You are directly influenced by this futuristic sounding technology, which is not futuristic anymore. This is our reality. There's mind control on the large scale using brain cloud interface and nanotechnology. We have to accept it, and we have to start fighting against it, because the enslavement that results from this war is irreversible.
My God, that is it right there. That it's so important that we win this war, because of the way we experience life right now is at stake, basically. With our freedom and our ability to think. When you say mind control, that they could put thoughts there and get us to do things that we wouldn't normally do, change our personality and so forth, is just, that's really evil. It's and unjust. So I'm so happy that we're noticing it and that we're doing something about it.
And you made a very correct connection. There's a connection between growing technocracy and the targeting program, because targeted individuals have been lab rats for this technocratic enslavement, neurological enslavement, for many, many years. Now, this COVID event is the first public event of this, using this technology on a mass scale. But before that, it's been tested on target individuals, and that's the connection. So we are the canaries in the coal mine, and nobody has listened to us. Nobody has paid attention to us. Now it's happening to everybody. So it is everybody's job to stop the targeting program, because at the end, everybody will be targeted. Everybody will be enslaved. Everybody will be mind controlled. And if you step out of the line, if you don't think correctly, you'll be punished with a directed energy torture. If you stay within the line, comply with the totalitarian principles, then you will be okay. Kind of like what they do in China, with the credit score and stuff like that. But in our cases, dissidents, people who don't want technocracy, who don't want their DNA modified, who don't want this cyborg technology in their brain, are dissidents. And they're punished, and they're eliminated, and they're neutralized. And that's what we call being targeted.
Exactly. All right, Dr. Ber, thank you so much. With that, I'm going to open up for questions, for Q&A. I did have one more video, which is very, very encouraging. So, but I want to be respectful of your time. So I'm going to open up the Q&A. Yes, and then if you'd like to stay for the video, and anyone else that would like to stay, it's really, we're going to hear it, so it's an audio for us, but it is a video connected. It is absolutely encouraging and absolutely worth it. But first, we're going to open up to the TI community, because they're so excited to have you here. They love you so much. And so we're going to open up with the questions that are in Q&A. So for the next caller, for the first caller, please. Go ahead, please. We can hear you. Please know that we won't take any anonymous calls and no duplicate calls. And the first person, I'm waiting. Go ahead.
Thank you, GoGi. This is Deborah from New Jersey. Dr. Ber, such a pleasure. Hi, GoGi. Thank you so much for having this superstar on with us tonight. It's such a pleasure to speak with you, Dr. Ber.
Did we lose Deborah?
Hello?
Or is it my... Hello? Yeah, we must have lost her.
I think we lost
She couldn't wait. She couldn't wait. Wow. She'll come back online. All right, let's go to the next caller. We'll come back to Deborah.
Thanks, Deborah, for your kind word.
Yeah. Go ahead. Next caller, please. Next caller.
I think we're dealing with electronic interference.
Yeah.
Hello. Good night, everyone.
Hi, how are you?
I'm okay. This is Pastor Cabot, GoGi, and it is an honor to always be on your calls. And then tonight is even double honor to hear, Dr. Len Ber, with my 2 ears. I followed him closely on Twitter. I follow him closely on Twitter because he's a fighter, is an activist, and he's always bringing, things on a different level scientifically. I love to, to just, follow his trend on Twitter. But I don't really have a question, but something that I would like to echo of what he said tonight. Talking about the last thing, I think is talk about, the World War III And I think this is, exactly what, the New World Order, we've been talking about is really, they want to control people. As Dr. Bill, he could not say it better than that. I really believe that this is a way the Havana syndrome or this evil technology is a way to control people. And once you're out of line or you want to come out of order, they can come after you and no one will see their hands. And this is more reason that we definitely need to fight against this, because not only for ourselves but for our generation, new generation, for the generations, and to really break that controlling spirit. And as you all know, I always said all the time, as a pastor and also someone who was born in Haiti, I know both sides of the world, good and evil. And I always know, with the scientific and the evil technology, they also use witchcraft, with this kind of technology, like a hepatizer. There's a way when they hepatize you or something. There's an English word for that, but I forgot. That they can control your mind as well. So Dr. Bill, so thank you very much, Gaji. Thank you very much. And I think this is where we are. We got to continue to fight against this, together, pray against this together, expose it all the time on Twitter together, because we're talking about the New World Order. That's one of their tools, that they will use to control the population on Earth. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Pastor K. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your commentary. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Okay, next caller, please.
Thank you, Gaji. It's Deborah from New Jersey again. Dr. Ber, such a pleasure. Such a pleasure to speak with you, Dr. Ber. And when I found out you're on the call tonight, I mentioned to Gaji that you're actually on my bucket list. So I had hoped to one day meet you or speak with you. I have watched your many interviews and podcasts, and I'm really grateful for your hard work in getting, the word out, so to speak. And from the bottom of my heart, a huge thank you. You're a strong online presence, and you have given me strength on some of my most difficult days. And I feel so fortunate to have your voice and presence representing me, and I'm sure the community feels on this call tonight, very much the same. You're a rock star, Dr. Ber, so thank you.
You're embarrassing me, but I'm very grateful for your comments.
Well, it's all true. It's all true. But just a few ideas, Dr. Ber. So, we're all familiar, of course, with the 60 Minutes broadcast with Scott Pelley. And, wouldn't it be great if they highlighted you, Dr. Ber, with the title of the first civilian diagnosed with Havana syndrome, anomalous health incident, or to your point, neurostrike. So that would be, a wonderful broadcast to watch, and certainly would be very educational for everybody. So that would be my first question, if that would be something you would consider in reaching out to 60 Minutes about. And I'm also interested to know, Dr. Ber, if you happen to know if the diplomats also have V2K. And then just another point I wanted to make was I'm wondering if maybe the scientists, I'm speaking fast just for the interest of time because I'm sure there's many people that would like to talk with you. But I'm wondering if maybe the scientists, like maybe some of the scientists from the NeuroRights Foundation who just initiated the new Colorado bill, HB 241058, I think it is, can help us with figuring out this computer-based technology system that's been harming us, specifically for demonstration purposes, maybe to share with our legislators, et cetera. So thank you, Dr. Ber. Those are some of my thoughts and questions.
Great. Thank you, Deborah. Appreciate all your comments, kind words, and great questions. 60 Minutes, absolutely. My everyday starts with reviewing the news and contacting people who, printed or published or put out a video about this condition, I contact them. This is just a part of my daily routine. So yes, I have contacted 60 Minutes. I have spoken to quite a few journalists, and unfortunately, after the initial interest, it always magically disappears. But I agree, wouldn't it be great to feature the first civilian on disability with Havana syndrome? And I believe somehow it will happen. It just can't stay under the wraps forever. The media, the government, they're already painted into a corner. We will force the topic onto them. So, yes, great idea, 60 Minutes or something like that in mainstream media. It will happen. So, your second questions about the diplomats. There, I have two reasons to believe that Voice to Skull is a part of the diplomats' attacks. So the first reason is the original broadcast by the CNN when the journalist said that it's not just the noises that they hear, but also voices. And that broadcast was scrubbed from CNN, but thanks to people who saved that clip, it's on the internet. It's forever. You can look it up. CNN original clip when it's mentioned. If you look at some of my Substack V2K, I also mentioned it there. So that's the first reason. And the second reason is when I went to Dr. Hoffer to receive a diagnosis back in 2020, I told him, I do not hide the truth from the doctor. I am, the first place I went to when it all started was a psychiatrist because I wanted to exclude a psychiatric condition. So that was excluded, and then we excluded, one by one all other conditions, and I ended up at Dr. Hoffer's office, and I said, I constantly hear voices, and he didn't even flinch. He put it in my case, and he said, of course you do, because you are exposed to microwave attacks. So
interesting.
That's kind of, and he's the one who diagnosed all the Cuban patients. So it was not news to him. It did not impress him. It was just, of course you do. So I believe that the diplomats also exposed to V2K. It just, they do not want to be public about that part of the story because of the stigma it carries. And your last questions about the NeuroRights Foundation. I had a lengthy conversation with Mr. Jensen, the number 2 man in the NeuroRights Foundation. I specifically asked if their NeuroRights legal initiative address illegal use of the brain, information collected from the brain. And he says specifically that no, we only concerned about commercial, legal technology that is out there that simply does not mention that they collect that information. So as a result, all these companies that have those neural bands, you sleep in them, they are able to collect that information. So the neural rights of the consumers using these devices is the goal of this legislation. It does not address the criminal use. And especially if the criminal is the government, it simply does not address it. So so the hope that it sounds great that we now have neural rights, but it does not address the criminal use. So,
right.
I want to kind of, sorry for dampening your optimism about this Neural Rights Foundation. It's simply, it doesn't do anything for us. And the first country, I think it was Chile, where neural rights were enacted. It doesn't do anything to the level of targeting in that country. So, besides for this,
right? Yes, being that they're scientists and professors at one being a professor at Columbia University. Yes, this is, I guess, more for scientific purposes than it is for people like us. But Doctor, yeah. So my husband and I are meeting with legislators here in New Jersey coming up very soon. So if we were trying to take, and we're meeting on the, kind of using the Colorado bill as our jumping off point to try to get legislation here in New Jersey. So if we were try to tweak that Colorado bill, do you think that would help, or do you think we just need a completely new bill?
I think
that's a big question. I realize that's a big
question. There's a part of collecting the information, and then what they do with that information can be used for good, for medical purposes, for enhancement, or can be used for nefarious purposes. The Colorado bill does not identify. It just says that we consumers own that information, that it would not be distributed. But it is when this information is available, it can be used for nefarious purposes. But the bill, the Neural Rights Foundation, it doesn't talk about it. It doesn't address it in any way. And I think that the new classification of Havana syndrome, for example, it is by its nature, it's illegal. It's like having a concussion every day. Like, would you go to the legislator and argue that getting concussion from somebody is illegal? Of course it is. Well, this is an invisible concussion of a very specific kind. The difference is between this. Here's a good analogy that you can use with your legislator. You can drop an egg and it will be damaged, or you can put an egg into a microwave. It will also be damaged, but in a different way. But both are injuries. They're just a result of various type of energy. One is a mechanical, physical concussion type, and the other one is just penetrating energy, but it's still a damage. So are we protected from a brain damage? I think nobody will argue that we're not. It's just we cannot show where this injury is coming from. So this issue of attribution, currently this hearing is trying to convince us that it's the Russians. But they said 30% of AHI are domestic. Are we having that many Russian spies, driving around, that 30% of all these cases are domestic? I don't think so. We having these Russian spies collaborating with the starts with an F. It's the gaslighting, not gaslighting. It's the gang stalking.
The Fusion Center.
The Fusion. Thank you. Here's my
Fusion Center
coming through. So are Russians collaborating with the Fusion Centers to carry out this theater and vehicular stalking operations? I don't think so. It's just like these pieces don't fit, but it becomes a propaganda. And I think that the I wouldn't be surprised is that the whole story about the Russians is also manufactured by the CIA because they want to get the population tired of the lack of the reason, of the controversial information, because people at the end of the day, they will say, nobody can give me an answer. There's different stories, different versions, and I can't think about it anymore. And if it doesn't affect me today, I'm just tired. I'm just tired of caring for this problem. That's a classic CIA propaganda. That's a textbook propaganda. Confusing people.
Sure. So then, Doctor, what would be your thought about someone going to the legislators and trying to, talk about these recent bills, California and Colorado and Chile, or even though these bills are not pertinent to us, they at least give us an opportunity to talk on the topic without going in and saying we're necessarily TI.
Right. Right. So domestic cases, absolutely without a doubt, responsibility of the FBI. So when I contacted my legislator and my House representatives after I had received the diagnosis, they simply served as a liaison between me and the FBI, because FBI, they're just like afraid of talking to me directly. They would only communicate with me through these congressional liaisons, and I think that's the message, that it is the FBI's job, who already committed, was that Havana syndrome is our top priority. They have to force them to investigate, and if they're failing to investigate, they're simply not doing their job, and they need to be replaced. This is a public safety issue, and you can quote Dr. James Giordana, who admittedly, in multiple occasions, confirmed the existence of civilian victims, confirmed that this is a public health issue, and if it is, and knowing the damage that it produces neurocognitive disruption, that it is now used against children who are in the process of forming these connections. They are disrupted as they're being formed. This is a public health issue. That would be my argument. The public health issue, it's extremely damaging, it's extremely harmful to the population, and FBI is not doing its job. You are
okay, and that's thank you, Doctor. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Deborah.
You're welcome.
Thank you,
Dr. Ber. All right, my pleasure. All right, I have to move you along. Thank you so much. There's a number of people waiting. So next caller, please. Thank you for that, Dr. Ber, and good luck with that, Deborah. Continue. Keep it up.
Good evening, Dr. Ber. This is Millicent Black. Thank you so much for all of the good information that you give us weekly and throughout the week that helps us to be more educated and more informed on what's happening. My question has to do with psychologists for psychological counseling purposes. Have you found that their answers are the same as what you got from the cognitive person in terms of we needing to be out of the situation before they can help us to recover?
I have found a psychiatrist who correctly diagnosed my condition as a straight-related syndrome. I don't have a paranoid delusional disorder. I have a stress-related syndrome from being tortured and exposed to all the elements of the program. That I have. I had two different psychologists, therapists, who could not figure out how to help me. And one, simply admit it. I just simply do not have anything in my arsenal how I can help you. And the second one, basically, I ended up dreading the sessions because all he could offer was, I'm so sorry it's happening to you. Well, how many times can you hear the same message and nothing else? I fired him. So I have not come across a therapist or psychologist who would have a comprehensive program how to deal with it, because they're not exposed to it. At the at the first Targeted Doctors Symposium, there was a speaker, Linda Pimenta, who is a nurse practitioner, but in a couple of states they can act as psychiatrists, and she had some elements how to deal with the diagnosis, but once again, she hasn't developed a comprehensive program how to deal with the psychology of targeted program. Basically, we have a PTSD. We have a chronic PTSD, and I don't know, the latest, actually the latest addition in the pharmacopoeia is the drug ecstasy, the MDMA, which is being used in the therapeutics environment to treat PTSD, and quite successfully. And I'm not advocating for that, but I just want to bring it to your awareness that it is now an official U.S. pharmacopoeia drug and is the latest addition to drugs used to treat PTSD. We have PTSD, so that's how you have to approach this problem.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Black. Thank you for your question and your response, Dr. Bear. Very, very interesting. And Dr. Linda Pimenta was on the show. One thing that she, and we can let the next person come in, but Dr. Millicent, I hope you'll hear me, that what she said that she could do was to help look over records and see what her diagnosis would be, because she would consider the program, which is more than some others would do, because she's familiar with it and she is targeted. So she would be able to consider the program as she, diagnoses someone and reviews records. So that is an asset for us, Dr. Linda Pimenta.
Thank you. I'd like to have that information when time permits.
Oh, okay.
Her
yes,
contact information.
I have it for you. Okay, thank you. All right, next caller, please.
Hey, this is Simeon. I just want to ask the doctor if he knows how long does it take to reverse Havana syndrome, and has he seen it actually fully cured?
Well, thank you for this question. We have very limited information about the diplomats and how they have been treated and what the results are. There's a limited information about their recovery. Most of them are in a slow progression, even though so from the literature we got an indication that about 6% of people who experience AHI internationally in the foreign land, their directed energy attacks continue in the domestic environment. That's about 6%. It was mentioned in one of the papers very much as a footnote. So that's an indication. For the people whose attacks stopped, the majority of them report just the slow progressive degradation. So even though there's no published literature on how to treat Havana syndrome, especially how to treat an ongoing Havana syndrome. So in order to reverse it, I think the first thing you have to do is stop the attack. Without that, there's no reversal. And then maybe after that, if we know more about the mechanism behind the neurocognitive disruption, which is unique, it's a unique type of disruption. It's not like Parkinson's. It's not like Alzheimer's. It's a direct effect on the neural axons. They're slowing down, and you have this delta speed connection between these neural nodes. And we also don't know the role of nanotechnology because it is also used in conjunction with it. So it's very possible that as your own neurological system degrades, the artificial neural network is being developed. So you are literally becoming a cyborg. And there are animal studies that show it done very successfully, that they inject mice with neural mesh intravenously, and it develops into and penetrates the brain and establishes this bidirectional connection. And it's basically, it doesn't matter how your own neural network works. It is the functional, the graphene-based neural mesh networks is fully functional, and you don't know, is it you or is it the cyborg part of you? For example, I expressed it on many shows that I emit a MAC address. That can only be done if there's nobody put a chip in me, but the nanotechnology has an ability to penetrate the blood-brain barrier, form larger technological units, and the fact that I emit a digital hexadecimal address means that I have technology inside me, and that's been confirmed. There's a study published, and so when you're asking about the reversal of Havana syndrome, we need to consider that possibility also, that it's not only the degradation of your system, but it could also be involvement of neurotechnology that can be used for nefarious purpose to further downgrade your brain. So it's a very complex question, but thank you for that.
No problem.
Thank you for that. Thank you. Thank you, Simeon. Thank you, Dr. Ber. Okay. Next caller, please. Very interesting. The main thing is that the attacks have to stop so that we can really, there's going to be a lot of study and interesting medical discoveries with that whole process. Mm-hmm. Okay, I hear somebody. Go ahead, please.
All right. Is this the question and answer part of the show? Any question or answer is just pertaining to the subject.
Who is this, Lauren?
Yeah, this is Lauren. Lauren.
Okay. So, give me 1 second, Dr. Ber. So, Lauren, I told you that you could come and make an appeal to the group. And let me just say to everybody, Lauren is, well, you tell them who you are and what you're going through, what you need, and if anybody can help him, please let me know, and we'll facilitate that. Go ahead, Lauren.
Yes, my name is Lauren Jones. I'm originally from Detroit, 35 years old. I'm going through a major situation, a crisis here in Houston, Texas. I'm in the street, nowhere to go. I've been systematically tampered with out here. within the community. I'm not able to go anywhere because of the systematic sabotage that they have as far as this gang stalking. My story started as far as with all of this in 2021. I was in Miami and I got into an incident with a security guard down there in Miami. As I got into the incident with after I got into the incident with the security guard, I received injuries by being attacked while my back was turned. Ultimately, I got a lawyer and I was able to get a lawsuit against the hotel and the security company, unbeknownst to me that me getting this lawsuit that I would have, me getting a lawsuit that I would be put on a targeted list or a terrorist list, a terrorist watch list, like everybody else in the community or got similar stories. My gang stalking started hard in Miami. I went from Miami to Michigan. I started working at the Port of Miami down there in Miami, gang stalking real hard while I was going from place to place in Miami. It followed me to my home state in Michigan, first in Saginaw, then my home town in Detroit.
Lauren, okay, 1 second.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. And I know, you're going through a lot. I just want you to say what you need right now, and then how can we reach you? And I know how to reach you, so somebody will reach me and I'll reach you, okay? If anyone would like to help Lauren, this is what he needs. What do you need?
I'm needing places to stay and opportunities for me getting income or anything like that. Right now I have nowhere to go out here in Houston, Texas, and anybody that's in Houston that's able to give me a place to go to right now. That's the big thing for far as me right now, having nowhere to go and an opportunity to be able to make a living for myself in some type of way.
Okay.
I'm not able to do much.
I got you. All right, we got you. Thank you, and I will call me tomorrow, okay? And I'll see if I hear anything, okay? Thank you, and keep your head up. Be safe, and call me tomorrow. Thank you for coming on the call. If someone wants to respond, they will, okay?
Okay, yeah, just reach out to you, I guess.
Yes, reach out to me.
All right, thank you, GoGi.
Thank you. Okay. All right, so we're going to do something a little different because it's getting late, and I know Dr. Bear needs to go, and anyone who wants to hang around for the video, you can, or for the audio that we're going to listen to, you can do that. So what I'm going to do, instead of him answering the questions, I'm going to have each person ask their question. Just ask your question and go, and then at the end he will respond to, we'll sum everything up. So go ahead. Next caller, just ask your question, please. And we're going to do this kind of quickly. Hi, go ahead.
Texas. Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you, GoGi, for having this call and then having Len Ber on. I've been following him for a while, and I appreciate what he's been able to contribute to the community. I just wanted to find out if there's a way to contact Dr. Ber.
Dr. Bear's contact is, I think he's encouraging people to follow him on Twitter.
Yes,
okay.
My Twitter directed messages are open for everybody, so just please get to the point what you need. People write me, pages and pages and pages on Twitter in direct messages, but if you can just summarize exactly what you need or what you would like to know, please be short, and directed messages on Twitter are open for everyone.
Okay, I'll do
and
that.
Your Twitter handle is, what's your Twitter handle? Is that how they call it?
P. Sardonicus.
At P. Sardonicus?
At P. Sardonicus. Yes.
Okay.
If you watch the podcast on YouTube, the YouTube name contains a P. Sardonicus on Twitter or on X.
Okay, sir.
And I had one more question, Gaji. How do I contact you? What is your email address?
My email address, which is full right now, so try me next week. The Justice Action Meeting at proton.me. The Justice Action Meeting at proton.me. What's your name?
My name is Anish. I also go by AJ. I'm from Austin, Texas. I've been on the call for a while, Derek, and all, like others know me. And I talked to emails actually before, and the last email I sent you, it bounced back. It was on that mail sent. Yeah, okay.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
The Justice Action Meeting at proton.me. Try me next week.
Yeah, proton.me. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. Next caller, please. We're going to try to move this along because Dr. Bear has to go.
Goji, I would like to propose something. If you could collect the questions and then you can read then I can answer them because I am getting quite tired, and I would like to say goodbye to everybody and thank you for all your kind words. I'm very grateful that you recognize my contribution because that's my life purpose, is to free targeted community. It is inhumane, it is wrong morally and on any level, and we have to fight this technocracy. This technocracy is nothing but the neurological enslavement of the human race. So thank you, and thank you for being a wonderful guest, Goji. I think you're doing a wonderful job holding community together, and please don't forget that we are fighting a legal fight, and please keep your donations up to Targeted Justice. We are at the level of Supreme Court now, and that takes a lot of effort and a lot of money. So let's not drop this fight. We will continue. We will take it as far as we have to. I promise you that.
Thank you so much, Dr. Bear. Thank you for being here. I'm sorry I can't open up because then I'll lose people in queue. But thank you for we are so honored to have you here. Okay.
Appreciate it. Have a good night.
You too. Bye-bye. All right, guys. So I'm going to take the questions, write them down, and we'll share them with Dr. Bear. I will get them back to you. If you'd like to stay to hear this video, you can hear it right after this. And then again, I'll probably play it again next week. Okay, so questions. I see that there's a few in here. Please go ahead. I'm writing. We hear somebody. Go ahead, please.
Yes. Hello, Gaji. I wanted to ask Dr. Bear.
Just missed Dr. Bear. Go ahead. All right, Roger. Mm-hmm.
Yes, I wanted to ask Dr. Bear, since people are hit with I know with shielding and things, but what is his best advice with and if it is being people, since he's been in this so long, if you're hit with it, can it actually, what is the lifespan of it since he studied it long? Can it actually take you out? What is the length of it? Can it actually make someone go to, eternity with it? That's what my concern is with it.
Right, because I know they call it slow kill. So how slow is this?
Right. Right.
Gotcha.
Exactly.
All right. I will certainly ask them that and get that response to you. Thank you.
And thank you so much. All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for being here. Okay. Bye. Okay. Next caller, question, please.
Hi. Gaji, it's me again. That's okay. I just, it's not that the questions. It's that Dr. Millicent Black was on the call tonight, and I wanted to recognize her because when the year in 2013 or 14, when I started going through this attack, I didn't know anywhere else to go. So she's a very, very wonderful and great activist, helping the community for a long time with Ella. So that was such a blessing to hear her tonight on the call, and wanted to acknowledge, that she's been a great asset, to the TI community.
Thank you for that. And she has a new book too, and she has her own call as well. But thank you for that, Pastor Kate.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Next caller, please. We're moving right along, guys. We're getting this line down, but you all want to hear this video. Trust me. Go ahead.
Hi, good evening. My name is Karen. I'm in Florida. A quick question. How do you know, other than what we're experiencing, which is, the pain just being beamed at your body, or, last night, I don't even want to get into it here. There's mixed company, but, they attacked me in the worst way, sexually. And but besides all that, how can you identify that you are actually targeted and can articulate that to someone, showing them proof? Is there ways to show proof of that?
Well, a lot of the targeting, of course, it is invisible. There was just an article about, I believe it was the Wisconsin Law Journal that we read last week, and they said that the weapons come in and out without a trace, but that they acknowledge that them acknowledging it's meant so that people think that you're crazy, but because the Havana syndrome, the diplomats who have Havana syndrome are experiencing it. They're acknowledging that civilians are experiencing it. They're getting to that point. Then it is evident. There are ways people do scans. There's a megaphone that shows implants. There's thermal scans that show like what's impacting your body from the inside out. So yes, there are different ways that you can, scientific ways that you can prove that this is happening to you.
Okay, I have done the megaphone. I've purchased it, but everyone in my family and every guest that I've had in my home tests for that, right? To have the noise going off. And so the question is it in our water? What is it? It's not germane to just me who is experiencing all the pain and the targeting and all of what happens to me. It doesn't happen to me.
Were they vaccinated?
None of these people are vaccinated, including myself.
Really? Okay. So that's a good question. So let me put that down. Is that the question that you would like answered?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Okay. All right. Go ahead. Next caller, please.
How you doing, Coach? I just wanted to, this is Armando. I just wanted to chime in and say I've been here listening. And I just want to say hi to everybody and just give, I guess, words of encouragement. Words of encouragement to keep on trucking. We're all doing our part.
That's right, and you certainly are. I mean, I refer to Armando as, just a natural genius, because his Silent Night and something else he's working on is absolutely fantastic, guys. So I'm not sure. I would love to hear reports back from people that are using it, but it interferes with the communication that they have with our bodies, and it breaks that up. And I mean, you could tell. You said something else. It does something else with the environment, with the germs and stuff. You were telling me?
It ionizes. It makes a little bit of ozone, which everybody knows too much is bad for you, obviously. But what it does is negatively charges the particles in the air, the dust, and makes them heavy so that they cling and fall to the ground so that you can later vacuum it up. You could buy ozone machines and ionizers, they call them. I was looking into what other things that my device is actually doing, and the spark gap itself it ionizes the oxygen in between the gaps, so it's not like it doesn't produce a lot of ozone like the ion generators do, but it's just a new little thing I found out not too long ago about my device.
Right, that's like a little bonus.
Yeah, it's not what I was going for, but it's a nice added bonus.
Yeah, it's a bonus because what we're really what you're going for is even better. I mean, the V2K, people have I've heard reviews about it helping with the V2K, reducing it, eliminating it. People don't leave without it, and so I've heard rave reviews about it. So I'm constantly updating it, making it more robust and reliable, and recently have updated for more power output. And I am offering the older silent nights if somebody has one to ship it to me, and I can update it for them as long as they pay for the shipping. Beautiful. And what's your website?
Website is targetsourcellc.com. targetsourcellc.com.
Beautiful. targetsourcellc.com. Thank
yes,
you.
Ma'am.
Thank you for being here, Armando. All right.
No problem. Thank you, guys.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, keep it up.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.
I'm trying to, this is Lauren, I'm trying to understand, like, when was the first case in the United States of, like, did they have any reports on voice to school? Like is there reports of the first time that they had a case of it, or anywhere here in the United States, like where when it started, like all of these things, what was the first person or the first people, or where was they located here in the U.S.?
Okay. All right. I'll ask that question for you. Remember, though, that this is there was before this, there was MK Ultra and COINTELPRO, Pro, which was supposed to be stopped in 1974 by the Frank Church Committee. Right, but it did not stop. It went underground and it turned into...
This is the extension of it.
Exactly. So we would have to look back at MK Ultra and at MK Ultra, really. So we would have to look back at that. But I'll ask that question for you. Thank you, Lauren.
All right, thank you.
Okay. You're welcome. All right.
Oh, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh,
hi. How are you?
I'm okay. I was trying all that time to learn how to unmute, but you unmuted me. So
Yes. You once you're in line, you're unmuted. Once you get unmuted when it's your turn. So go ahead.
Okay. So Darpa's invented this memory chip they put on the right side of your brain, and it zaps your brain. And I've experienced the zapping on my brain, and I just wondered if Len Ber had experienced the zapping in his brain. I wondered if anybody had experienced that. At first I thought I have the Neuralink inside my brain.
Zapping.
I know I have a deep brain stimulator that was put in covertly, but I think a year ago, just over a year ago, they put something else in my brain. Because I went for a surgery, it takes 30 minutes, and the surgery took 8.5 hours. And I had no hemorrhage or anything like that. And also I can see something on my CT scan that's unusual. So I just wondered if anybody else has got brain zaps in their brain.
Okay, we'll ask them the question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anybody? Yeah, I see her got brain zapping in their brain when they're sleeping. It's just like a zap. Anybody else?
Okay. All right. So we're going to ask we'll ask because I'm not going to where
Yeah,
it's too late, maybe next week.
Right now, so there's no time. But,
I'm going to mention to him that there's something in your brain that you saw on your CT scan and you want to know, and you hear get a zap sometimes, and you want to know if you're.
I know I have a deep brain stimulator, but they put something else in my brain. So I've got 2 brain implants. Well, I've got multiple brain implants, but there's 2 that I know the name of them. Like I've read the research, I recognize what they look like. So, but that's just some implants. I have I must have about 40 implants. Yeah, I've got implants.
All right, I'm going to ask your question. ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you.
Next person.
Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead, please.
Hi, I'm a first timer here this evening.
Welcome. Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome to the J.A.M.
So I've been targeted. I've been moved up to a level 3, probably in this last year, almost year and a half, and it has become more aggressive. And on top of that, I work for one of the companies that's on the list for targeted justice. Where they reached out to them to have them cease and stop fabricating some of the targeting weapons, which I totally had no idea. And so what I want to ask is, as far as the targeting, they're microwaving me every single day at work. I'm being microwaved every single day, and I'm starting to see some health effects where my health feels like it's declining. And I just wanted to know, is there any way I could protect myself at work? And I'm being burned. It's so painful, almost to the point where I can't go back. And as far as the young lady who was talking about the brain clicking, I have experienced that as well. So yeah, I just want to know how to better protect myself more so from the microwave. And they have I guess it's sparks of like bolts coming, like lightning or something coming out of the lights, and all this stuff. I'm trying to learn
so
this.
You want to know how to protect yourself at work, basically.
Well, yeah, with the microwaving, because they microwave me every single day. I've been getting microwaved for like the last 6 months, and it's really taking a toll on my body.
Okay.
So,
are you using any shielding?
No, not at all. I don't. That's what I want to know. What type of shielding?
Okay.
What type of shielding do you guys
so,
use?
Okay, so that's a whole conversation. That's a mouthful. So what we'll do next week? Please join the J.A.M. next week, and that will be my question. I will ask everybody to talk about their favorite shield. The shielding that works for them. But water shields. There's so many things you can do. Especially when you know where it's coming from. So, oh gosh, I'm sorry. It's so late. I really want to help you.
Yeah, no problem.
So
I'm just checking in.
Okay, so let me just, if you have a bathtub, you can start by taking Epsom salt baths at night, and you can get something to detox with. Like what's the name of this thing? Bentonite clay, the liquid, or cilantro and ginger, or cilantro and garlic, and start binding the radiation and getting it out of your body, because that's what they're doing. They're pumping it in, you pump it out. So start pumping it out of your body, and and then there's so many different things. I'll have the community share that with you next Tuesday.
Okay.
Okay?
All righty. Thank you so much.
Okay. My pleasure. Okay. Next caller, please.
Yes, I'm sorry. Could you just tell us your email address again? Thank you.
Sure. Just know that it's not available till next week. And I apologize for that. The Justice Action Meeting at proton.me. You have it, ma'am? Hello?
Yes, I do. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right. Next caller, please.
Yeah, hey, this is Simeon again. For the lady that said she got her brain zapped, I had something similar happen to that maybe last or 2 nights ago, but it was more my eyes, I believe. I couldn't really tell because I was asleep, but I woke up to it. So yeah, I had something kind of similar to it. I hope it's not what was in my brain, but it felt like it was my eyes. And if anybody wants just another TI to talk to about like just TI things, I guess, just please feel free to hit up Eugene and ask for my contacts. My name is Simeon. Just ask her. She has my number and all that. So yeah, that's it. Thank you.
All right.
Hope everybody's getting through this too. I know it's tough times, but well, we made it this far, so we'll get through it. We'll definitely will. Just keep pushing forward.
Thank you. We will, because we're close to the end, guys, and I can't tell you enough about this video. Thank you for offering help, and thank you for your encouraging words, Simeon. Thank you. All right.
Thank you
Next caller. Thank you. My pleasure. Next caller, please.
Hi. We, I guess, had a couple of questions. One of them, we've heard on a couple of different calls mention of LED lights as sort of a directed energy weapon. And we do notice, we live on a lake, and a lot of people's lights seem like their beams not only shoot directly at our house, but some of them even seem like they're the ones that have shot holograms across for us to see. So I guess we're wondering, or I guess looking for a little bit of either information or just a little bit of solidification that we're not. I guess
looking too far into the
yeah.
What happened?
I guess we're just sort of wondering, are the lights that can
the lights affect us at all? There's a lot of bright LED lights pointed at our house.
Right. So yeah, they need light to do the EMF. They need light to use the weapon. So they love to have bright lights at you. And I did hear from Richard Lighthouse at one point that the light can hypnotize you if you look at them or something like that. I know even like when they do bright lights behind you, they can make you get sleepy. So the lights are impactful, and it helps with the dew. So what I learned from Armando actually is to shine a bright light back. To make it bounce back or something like that. So there's some things that you could do, but we're gonna open that up next week for tips and things, and I'll mention the lights as well.
Awesome. We built a 14-foot tall by 7-foot wide cross.
What happened?
We built a 14-foot tall by 7-foot wide cross and lit it up as bright as we could with 1 million Christmas lights back at them.
You put a tree out?
a huge crucifix in the yard. It was like 14 feet tall.
All right. You see? All right. There you go. You got it.
Looks like we got turned back on.
Exactly. Yeah, you got it. So one thing you have going for you is you have each other, and that's important. So you all stick together. Because, they try to come in between. You just stick together and keep and do what you can. Preserve your body, protect yourself, and just hold tight because it's coming down. And right now, I believe they're in a mode of, cleaning up. They're doing some cleaning up. When I see the Ring pushing back and Google pushing back and this one doing that and this over there, there's a lot going on behind the scene that we don't even know. And it's going to be in our favor. So let's just hold tight.
Can't wait.
And it can't be soon enough. I wish it was yesterday.
Right. We've been booted off this call like 10 times tonight.
Yeah, we have.
Oh, well, I'm glad you made it through. Thank you.
Thank you for all your help.
I did have one more quick question. I know there's other people waiting, but our son, we've had to get the police involved. There was, I guess, I don't know, I'm not trying to get too in-depth, but there was an assault on him, and so we've had to get the police involved. And my human conscious brain thinks, how could any legal law enforcement come here to screw with such a situation that would be involved with a child? But one of the officers that came to our house today specifically absolutely did not feel like an actual officer.
It was weird.
Mm-hmm.
Then we got
I've had that.
Agencies.
And we have been bounced back and forth between Michigan State Police and county.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that's why it's important to make sure you get, everybody's badge, number, their name, take pictures, video, have everything, because, when you get your day in court, if there was something fishy going on, it'll come out.
Okay.
Okay, good. We got everything.
And I've had that. You have it good. Okay. All right. Best of everything with you guys.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Next caller, please.
Hey, GoGi, I just really quickly wanted to address the lady that asked about the shielding, and I hope it's okay. She seemed very authentic and just wanted some help, and I remember what it was like for me when I had nowhere to turn for that kind of suggestion. But on the Targeted Justice website, on TI events, there's a lot of shielding suggestions for her, if she's still listening.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Yes,
You're very welcome.
Thank you. I could think of was look out of the Epsom salt, but you're right. I'm glad there's shielding tips there. And also, let me see, someone else has good shielding tips. Okay, yeah, that's a good start. Thank you so much, Len.
PAX International also, and I knew you were tired and just couldn't think, so I thought let me hurry and call and try to get her some help.
Yes, thank you so much. That is so helpful. I was trying to. I was actually drawing a blank. I don't know, but
I know.
Thank you.
I knew it. I knew you were. So that's okay. We got each other's back here. That's what we are one big family.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, bye. Next caller, please.
Hi, it's me again, PJ, the new one. So I did hear. I heard her. Yeah, I did hear the comment, and thank you so much. I will go to the site, and it's just I barely have enough time to just sit and breathe because they are so on me to the point where. But see, I have the victory. I know all of that. We the victory it's here. It's won. It's just it's not coming in the time where we can see it. We want to see it now, but I'm okay with it. I'm strong about it. It's just sometimes the pain gets to me so bad, that it wants to bring me out of character, because when people are hurt, they, react differently. So yeah, but I did. I'm glad she mentioned that, so I'll go to the site and check it out.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
yeah, and I wanted to know if I can get the information to the guy who said if anybody ever want to talk.
Okay, so you would talk to me, and then I'll get it to you. So
okay.
You have to send me an email, the Justice Action Meeting at proton.me.
Okay. And if anybody ever want to do lunch, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I said it'll be available next week. Go ahead.
Oh yeah.
Lunch, what state are you in?
It doesn't matter. I get out, and because I refuse to let them sit here and try to tie me down. No, so I move about, and that's the thing. I'm always moving about, and yeah. So I'm I can come and have lunch or just hang out because I think the feeling of isolation brings in like negative emotions and people want to give up because it got to me at one point, but I was thinking no, I'm more of a outgoing person in a sense, so yeah, so I try to keep that going for myself, but I did cut the family situation down a little bit because I hear all the people such as the family you were talking to earlier with the assault on their son. I have had them.
PJ, I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to cut you off a little bit because I'm just trying to get through the queue now.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Questions so we can move on. But thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
All righty. Thank you.
All right. All right. Next call, please. And we made it, guys. We made it through. All right, so I just wanted to get through all the questions, and we did. And I'm going to end by playing this video. And if you, I'm wondering if I should. Let me see. It's kind of long, but it's so good. I guess we'll have to, I want to hear from you. So I'm going to open up. We're going to say goodnight. If you decide that you want to hear this video, I'll close down. We'll listen to the video, and then we won't say goodnight, or we'll say goodnight again. Yeah, okay. So let's open up and say goodnight, everybody, and then anybody who wants to say. Thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you for all your hard work, Gaji. Thank you very, very much.
We'll watch the video next week.
Thank you so much.
You guys.
Next week for the video? Okay, that's fine. Video next week. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much. God bless everyone. Fantastic.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for being here.
You don't ever reach that in the middle of the call.